Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be breaking down my trades on both AMC and CLOV. Mainly, we're going to be breaking down how I found the key levels to trade off of. I know that a lot of people are getting into trading from this kind of Wall Street's bets, short squeeze mania. And that's great. We want to see more traders in the market, but also I want to help you get some more structure and base your trades more off these key levels of support and resistance, and just have some more kind of knowledge of how you can expect price action to work and how you can expect stocks to move. If you can kind of base your trades off of key levels of support and resistance, everything becomes a lot easier. Having discipline and having the control to stay within a plan, it's all a lot easier when you know that you're basing your trades off of key levels that everyone else is using too. So the trades on AMC and CLOV are very similar. They're both kind of using previous all-time high as support, which I'll be showing in this video. And it's a very awesome strategy to use and just a very awesome level to use, because there's a lot of psychological things that happen when a stock breaks out over previous all-time highs. And there's a saying that as long as previous all-time highs can hold as new support, the stock should run higher. And that's so far what we're seeing with AMC and CLOV. So without any more time wasted, I'm going to switch over to my screen share and break down these charts and show you some nice little tips and tricks of how you can implement this into your own trading. So stay tuned. Alrighty, so here we are on my screen share, and basically in this lesson, we're going to be mainly focusing on the idea of using previous all-time high as support for your trades. So this is a very simple thing to follow. Obviously, you're not going to find it show up on every trade, on every stock, right? Because not every stock has broken out into new all-time highs. What I usually say is that in general, you don't want to trade every stock. You want to use the stock to trade your strategy. And if you can kind of reframe your mindset towards trading in that way, then you can also stay patient for your strategy to show up and not really feel like you have to trade every single day. And that, of course, is a very powerful thing, as I'm sure you've learned. So here we're going to be talking about AMC first, right? Obviously, AMC, it's on a huge rally upwards. Ever since like the $10 area, it really pumped up all the way to 72 bucks. And the point that I'm going to show you right now is how you could have traded this after the kind of initial pump from 10 to 30 bucks, and how you could have actually had conviction to dip buy the previous resistance as new support in the $36 area. So the first thing you want to do is go to a daily chart. You can also use the weekly chart too, so I'll just show you that real quick. So here's the weekly chart on AMC, and basically what you want to do is you want to zoom out as far as you can go until you kind of find where the previous all-time high was. So you can see right here that is right around $36. And just for simplicity, what you can do, let me just delete these levels real quick. What you can do is you can switch to the line chart, and that just allows you to find the top a lot easier and just kind of draw that level as resistance. So now you know, right? You could have done this at any point during the run-up. Now you know that the previous all-time high is around 36 bucks. So now what you want to do, like say for example, you're watching this thing rally and pump up, you see it have a test of that resistance, it doesn't break out. And then it kind of pulls back, it consolidates, and then it finally does break out. You can see here on the 1st of June, it was actually able to gap up through that 36 level. So now it's an actual breakout above that previous all-time high. So once it's in this mode and once it's in this area, right, the break above previous all-time high, you can develop a strategy based on, okay, well, what if that all-time high level holds as support? Now, the key thing here is that you don't know for sure if it is going to hold, right? Obviously, there's no way to predict the future, but you're basing the trade on a what if. What if this does hold previous all-time highs as new support? What can happen? Well, we can see the stock squeeze further and find new resistance. Basically, I'm not going to go too in depth into this. I have like a whole 2-hour lesson in my course about the psychology behind this. But just quickly, the reasoning behind this idea is that when the stock is able to break out above all-time highs and hold it as support, what that basically means is that anybody who has ever sold this stock, who has ever shorted this stock, is now underwater. Whether they're a long trader who bought at 10, sold at 20 bucks, whether they're a short who shorted at 20 bucks and is holding into the squeeze, both of those traders will feel compelled to buy back in if they see it break out over all-time highs, because they don't want to miss the further move. That's the gist of it, okay? And that's what we're kind of basing the strategy on. If the stock can hold previous all-time high as support, then we can see it continue and rally further. So if you just kind of go back to that morning, look at that. I mean, you can try to tell me that's a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence how once it had gapped up above that 36 level and finally broke through it as resistance, look at where it tested perfectly. It pulled back like right down to that level, made a long bottom wick, meaning a ton of people bought it up, and then it went on its further squeeze into the 72 range. And that's how I traded it. I had a watch list that morning where I was watching AMC for the hold of 36. And then if you're curious of where the $72 level is from, basically it's just the 100% rally after the break over all-time highs. Something that we've talked about in the Trade Buddy program. So that was the first potential entry on AMC that kind of showed the previous resistance holding as support off that previous all-time high. So now if we want to get a bit more nitty-gritty into this, technically, obviously, this is like not really a pullback to support, but it's a pullback that's kind of testing the breakout to continue. So what that means is that after this first breakout happens, you can still expect that the stock is going to try to test that previous resistance as new support. And you can see next day had its massive red day. Everyone panicked, but sure enough, it came down and came very close to hold that overall level as support. And that was also yet another entry. And from this entry, where it actually tested support, now we've developed a range, right? Now we know that support is 36, resistance is 72. And if you hopped into this low support and you're still holding it, then you're pretty much just sitting pretty, letting this build up, looking for the eventual break over 72, which in my opinion can definitely happen. I don't know for sure. I do have a position in it off that support, and I'm basing my thesis around the fact that, hey, as long as previous all-time high holds as support, the stock should break out. No matter how long it takes, as long as it keeps building up strength and looking bullish, this should be able to break out just like it did over the 36 level, right? So that's kind of the breakdown of AMC. And this is a way that you could have traded it even if you weren't long from the beginning of the Wall Street Bets hype. This is a way that you can use the chart and leverage the chart in order to find key levels and trade off those key levels and still make a really good profit. So that's AMC. Now the next one, of course, is CLOV. Very similar chart, right? We're basing the trades off the daily chart and we're looking at where the previous all-time high is. Once again, you can use the weekly chart if you want. So I'll switch it over here. And also, if you want to keep it very simple, switch to the line chart and then you can easily find where that top is. You can see here, the previous all-time high is at like $16.77. Same exact breakdown for CLOV. You have the breakout, which is tested to continue. And then after that initial breakout, it's going to pull back down and then actually test the previous resistance as new support. Now, obviously, there's one small difference in the fact that if you look at the chart on AMC, its breakout lasted an entire day and it pulled back the next day. Whereas on CLOV, its breakout lasted maybe 1 hour and pulled back in the same day. Overall, same price action, right? You have that all-time high level that is tested as resistance in pre-market. Then it gets broken out, market open, and then it pulls back, tests and holds that previous resistance as new support. It continues the breakout, finds that next level of resistance, and once that resistance is set, it's now going to want to make that range and pull back and test that previous all-time high as new support. Once again, for this one, I did hop in on this in the morning at 1677. I did not take any profits on this initially because my first profit target was 100%, just like AMC was. And then when it pulled back down to actually do the support test, I just added more shares. And now that we actually have this range set, you can now look at this trade and say, okay, we have a range of resistance and support. And you can plan the trade based off the big picture and say, all right, as long as that previous all-time high can hold as new support, we should see the stock test resistance and potentially break out. Here's where then you can make a plan to lock in your partial profits into the known level of resistance. Here it's 2340s, and it's actually testing that right now, and I did sell some shares into it. Just like for AMC, my plan for my AMC swing, the first plan I have is to lock in partial profits into that first level of resistance when it does test, if it does test, obviously. I don't know if it will, but if it does, that's my plan. And then hold the rest for the further breakout. So as you can see, two very different stocks. Obviously, they're kind of fueled by the same kind of short squeeze mania, right? But as far as planning your trades go, very easy to find those key levels and kind of make plans based off those key levels. You don't need to trade every single day. You don't need to be a quick, hotkey day trader. I've really been swinging over like the past 3 months now. I've really been focusing on swinging stocks for the massive move, and it's paying incredible results. Obviously, it's a lot less stressful because it's not so quick. You can kind of sit back, let the price action develop. I'm not saying it's for everyone, right? Everyone has their own personality of trading. Everyone has their own style. But that's just one little tip for you. And hopefully you can apply this to your trading, right? If you see a stock breaking out over all-time highs, then you know that a key level to kind of use is that previous all-time high as new support. Use the daily chart, use the weekly chart, and if you want to make it very easy, use the weekly line chart, and that will be very easy to find those key levels. All right, so hopefully this video helped you kind of get some more clarity of how to trade these meme Wall Street bets hyped up stocks. If you have any questions about how to find these key levels, how to have confidence to trade off these key levels, leave me a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. Make sure it's the correct handles. There's a lot of fake scammers out there who copy my pages and try to scam people. So make sure you verify it's me first and then ask a question. I'll never ask you for money directly over DMs. That's just not me at all. But if you want to talk about trading, I'm always down. So hit me up. Love to talk to you about it. If you want to join TradeBuddy and trade alongside me and my team, hit the first link down below. Check out my program. If you want to check out the scanners I use when I trade every single day, links down below as well. With all that being said, hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, leave me a subscription. Hit the like button as well to tell the YouTube algorithm that you liked the video. And I'll see you in the next video.